this, and that. This, and that.
What's that?
The prayer, the Baruch prayer.
Okay.
This, this, and that.
Okay.
Good.
English first?
Yeah.
Okay.
This part is English, then English,
then the Hebrew? Okay.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who follows us with both, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Thank you. I will call you back up towards the end of the service to open the ark for our landing. So I welcome you. We've lit our Shabbat candles. And now we welcome in the Shabbat bride with Lahadodi. You'll find that on page 138, 139, and you'll be hearing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When you get to 9, and you'll know when 9 is, please rise in every way possible, and we'll welcome the Shabbat bride. Shabbat, Pene Shabbat, Nekavela, Likratala, Pene Shabbat, Nekavela. You may be seated, and we turn to page 144 for the Hatzi Kaddish, the beginning of our communal prayers. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah v'yalma divra hirte v'yamlich malchute b'haye honu v'yome hon uvhaye dekol beit Yisrael bagala bagala uvizman koriv v'yimeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah movora leolam leom meomaya yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal shmei dekudesha b'richu leilami kol birhata b'shirata Tushbehata v'ne emata damiram bi'alma v'imeru amen. Page 146, we rise in every way possible for the Baruch Hu, our call to prayer. remain standing on page 152 and 153 for the Shema, the central prayer of our faith. These words are taken from Deuteronomy in our Torah. Affirms that God is one. Let us first read the English and then the Shema. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol meodecha. V'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavaha hayom al levavecha. Vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtaha b'veitecha uv'lektaha v'derek v'shaktaha uv'kumecha v'kshatam liot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha uv'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha leman tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kadoshim le'Elohechem ani Noi Elohechem asher hotzeti etem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lahem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. You may be seated. Please turn to page 158 for our Mi Chamocha, our song of freedom, deliverance, and redemption. This is Passover, so it's a good time to remember that it's unfortunate, but the exodus from Egypt by the Hebrews did not end because slavery continues, and we will all not be free until all men and women are free. Baruch atah Adonai Gaal Yisrael. Page 160, we find Hashkivenu. This is a prayer that asks God for his understanding. It's a prayer asking for our protection, hope for peace. It's a prayer in which we ask God to cover all of us with an umbrella of his love and blessings. Please turn to page 162 with the Shamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael ha-Shabbat lasod et Shabbat lidorotam berid olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael ha-Shabbat lasod et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berid olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael ha-Shabbat lasod et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berid olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. So et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash, Shabbat vaynafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael ha-Shabbat laso et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. And together on the bottom, those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness. For being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation. The next prayer is a central prayer in our faith, the tefillah. And we will rise in a moment in every way possible. But first, what I'd like to do is have a few moments before this central prayer to have what I'll call personal conversation with God, just your own meditation. You can read the pages of our prayer book or not. Just take a few moments, seated, and have your own personal conversation with God. We rise, if you can, in every way possible, beginning on page 164. Dave will play the first page, Adonai Sefatai, which is a very old meditation, supposedly a legacy from our most oldest grand ancestors. Sefatai tifta ufi yadite ilate Adonai. Sefatai tifta ufi yadite That my mouth may declare your praise. That my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, Sifatai Tiftam, Ufi, Adonai, Sifatai Tiftam, Ufi, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, that my mouth may declare your praise. Just a note, when we get to page 168, we say the summer part of the prayer, now that it's Passover. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rahel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Anorah El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'konei hakol, v'zoher hasdei avot v'ima'ot, u'mevi gulal livnei l'man shmo b'yahava, melech hozeh Moshe Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'yezer tzara, atah gibor le'lam Adonai, mahayeh hakol atah rab l'hoshia, morid hatol, Mahakel hayim behesed, mehaye hakol berachanim rabbi. So mef no flame verfeg holim, umatir asurim, umakayem emunato lishenei afar. Mihamo haba'al yavarot, umidom elah. Melech Memiri Umahaye Umatzmi Yeshua V'neman Atah L'Hayot Hakol Baruch Atah Adonai Mahaye Hakol Atah Kadosh V'Shim HaKadosh Doshim B'Ho Yom Alalu HaSelah Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. And together you are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. We're going to take a few moments to count the Omer. Many of you know that we count the Omer for 50 days. Why? Serves as a link between Passover and Shavuot. It reminds us of the liberation we celebrated during Passover and just how easy it is for all of us to slip back into slavery. Counting each day of the 50 days is intended to bring us a moment of meditation so we can work on our best selves and ready ourselves for receiving the rules that we are to live by when we get to Shavuot. Today is 4 days of the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mitzvotav etzivanu al svirat haomer. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us concerning the counting of the Omer. Hayom arba yamim laomer. 4 days. There's something else that occurs right about this time every year, middle of Passover. Jews worldwide on Passover read the Song of Songs. It's the third and final section of the Ketuvim, the Hebrew Bible, the writings. Contains 5 scrolls called the Megillah that are read in the synagogue on a variety of holidays, Jewish holidays. Esther is read on Purim. Lamentations is read on Tishu B'Av because it evokes the suffering of the Jews in the wake of the destruction of the temple. Ruth is read on Shavuot, and Ecclesiastes is read on Sukkot. Perhaps the most elusive connection of all is the one between Song of Songs and Passover. Nearly every Jewish community worldwide, in some way, connects the Song of Songs to Passover. It's a poem traditionally understood to symbolize the love between God and the Jewish people. Passover is a celebration, of course, of the freeing of Israelites from Egyptian bondage. The traditional explanation for this liturgical arrangement is that the Song of Songs is said in springtime, just as Passover is. There's also a mention of Pharaoh in the Song of Songs that connects it to Passover. Beyond springtime and the stray reference to Pharaoh, there may be a deeper connection between the Song of Songs and Passover. Since ancient times, it has been understood in religious terms as an expression of love between God and the Jewish people. We turn now to page 178 for Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav, al Yisrael amha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav, al Yisrael amha, tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, lahol ha-shalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lahol ha-shalom. Shalom Rav, al Yisrael amha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav, al Yisrael amha, tasim leolam. V'tov b'einecha livarei et amha Yisrael b'chol eit uv'chol shah b'shlomecha. L'mrav al Yisrael amha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. That ends our communal prayers. This section of the service is for special prayers. The first one is Mishaberach. You'll find that on page 371. It's a Hebrew prayer asking for strength and healing. It begins by calling upon God to bless and heal the sick. It prays for God's compassion, swift action to heal and strengthen the body and soul of all those who are suffering. We have a list. And the list includes Rosalind Cantu, Nick Joliet, Ira Dornfeld, Erwin Marcus, Stephen Katz, Anita Ash, Steve Boucher, Carol Janowski, Joanne Hines, Faye Chernin, Nancy Judd, Cecilia Honig, Katie Kiss, Ann Jackson, Jeff Lubin, Debbie Rubenstein, Dan Crabtree, Allie Hover, Glenn Hoffman, Linda Hoffman, Richard Blaylock, Felice Boucher, David Frost, Terry Krebs, Shaylee Hibschman, Shelley Leon, Neil Yerman, the Clary family, Matthew Sean, Donna Yu, David Drabkin. Are there any others? May the source of strength, oh, bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Let us say, Amen. Those in need of healing, with refuah, shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, we have a prayer for service members and public service first responders, and then I'll list the names. May he who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless our service members and first responders who stand watch over our land and cities. May God save them from all forms of distress, injury, and death. May he grant every action taken with blessing and success. We say, Amen. These are the names: Oni Hinnenan, Joshua Ehrlichman, Martin Brown, Howard Mergler, Kyle Smet, Andrew Booth, Joseph Cald, Pete Abelson, Jeremy Sharkey, Benjamin Hurd, Alexander Furman, Daniel Gilman, Curtis Miller, Caleb Menzies, Noah Kaplan, Aaron Breeding, Jacob DeVores, Janet Ingram, Tyler Adcock. All those, the armed services, ships at sea, Corey Anderson, Tikva and Tiferet Jackson, and Sam Lerman. Are there any others to name? All right, thank you. Prayer for the United States, for ourselves. Our God and God of our ancestors, with mercy we accept our prayer on behalf of our country and its government. Pour out your blessings upon this land, upon its inhabitants, its leaders, its judges, officers, and officials who faithfully devote themselves to the public. Help them understand the rules of justice you have decreed, so that peace and security, happiness and freedom will never depart from our land. A prayer called Ahinu for the release of Israeli hostages who have been in captivity over 200 days. Our brothers, our sisters, the entire family of Israel, all who have been gripped by distress or taken into captivity, whether on the sea or on dry land. May God have mercy upon them and bring them out from suffering to relief, from darkness to light, from subjugation to redemption, speedily. And we say, Amen. Finally, a prayer for Israel. This is one drafted following the Hamas attacks of October 7 last year. May God watch over the people of Israel and those tasked with its defense. May their efforts be victorious. May the hateful enemies of the Jewish state be made to understand that their crimes and evil intentions will no longer be tolerated by a civilized world. This week's Torah portion, special portion, Parsha Hol HaMoed, Pesach, and it's the Passover holiday traditional Parsha, read at this time of the year. It's from Exodus 33:12 to 34:26. I've always been fascinated by the Passover Seder. I consider the Seder to be a lesson plan for life. Seder, when planned and done well, makes use of our mind and heart. The Seder is not just an event that takes place and then forgotten. Over the years, I've come to realize we can draw on the Passover memories and tell the story of the Exodus with some credibility. In other words, the lesson plan is not simply entertaining and interesting, but it works. Additionally, Seder is not simply an educational success. It is among the most popular of American Jewish practices. But this evening, in this commentary, in this Parsha, I'd like to explore the Torah reading assigned to the Shabbat. The reading comes from the book of Exodus, as I said, and is part of Parsha Ki Tisa. That was my bar mitzvah Parsha many, many years ago. long before most of you were even born. Included in this short section, we find Moses asking God to reveal himself to him, God's response to Moses' request, God's restoration of the covenant, the creation of a new set of tablets to replace the broken ones, and some of the terms of the covenant. This latter section contains the commandment to observe 3 festivals, Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, providing the connection to the Shabbat that occurs during Passover. In reading this section of Torah, I found myself most interested in the portion in which God reveals his own self to Moses. Moses says, "Oh, let me behold your presence." God responds as follows, "I will make all my goodness pass before you. I will proclaim before you the name eternal and the grace that I grant and the compassion I show. But you cannot see my face, for a human being may not see me and live." And God said, "See, there is a place near me. Station yourself on the rock, and as my presence passes by, I will put you in a cleft of the rock and shield you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take my hand away, and you will see my back, but my face must not be seen." To me, this presents an anthropomorphic vision of God. Then there are comments by the great ancient rabbi Ibn Ezra that I read about this Torah portion that makes sense to me. According to Ibn Ezra, this revelation is metaphorical. The Torah often speaks of God in human terms. God has no face, no back, no mouth. In other words, God put Moses in the cleft of the rock and let him see God's back in order to teach him, and I believe us, that while we cannot see God directly, as God has no body, we can see God through God's acts in the world. In fact, if we pay attention to God's creation, we cannot help but see God in the miracle of our everyday breathing, in the connections we feel with those we love, in the beauty of a sunset, snow-capped mountain peak, the birth of a baby, the face of a friend. In fact, there is nothing in our experience that is unfamiliar from experiencing God if we choose to perceive the world that way. The problem is, we don't usually make that choice. We don't tune in. The Seder is not just a lesson plan, but a chance to use our senses to hear sweet music, see the faces of those we love, taste and smell the foods that the person who cooked them created, touch the many shapes and textures of the ritual items on the Seder table, and understand the miracles God performed for our ancestors and us. All of these are His manifestations. We can not only view the Seder as a model of how to learn about our ancestors in our distant past, but also see it as an opportunity to connect even more closely to God as we focus on all the wonderful acts He has performed. And He has given us that pathway to His presence. Before we conclude the service with the Aleinu and Mourner's Kaddish and a song, are there any announcements? Debbie?
So the streamers can hear. Thank you especially to the Oneg hosts, especially one family that did it at the last minute. I appreciate it. Thank you to Jeff for stepping in while Rabbi Liz is at a friend's wedding in Milwaukee. and we hope she's having a good time. The next service will be Saturday, right? We're into May next week. So next week, there will not be a Shabbat service in the evening. Enjoy a slow, easy, relaxed Shabbat meal at home maybe. And then join us on Saturday at 10 a.m. for music and 10:30 for the service proper. And I think that's all I have to announce coming up. Anything else?
Thank you, Deb. Any others?
Sisterhood Shabbat will be the following Friday evening, so please join us and hear a bunch of happy women celebrating Shabbat with us.
Any others? No? Okay. We turn our attention now to our closing prayers. Aleinu is the first one. The Aleinu conveys a fundamental value of Judaism. Firstly, praise for being a unique people with a unique mission, the unique unity of God, and the hope for a time when God's presence will be fully realized in the world. So we rise in every way possible. I invite the Goldberg Young family and Morrison Krebs family to open the ark. We will face the ark for Aleinu on page 586. Aleinu l'shabei aladon hakol la'tekedu la'liotzer b'reishit shelo asanu kugoye haratzot v'lo samanu kimishpachot hadama shelo sam helkenu kahem v'gor aleinu kahol hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech Malhei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'nemar V'haya Adonai L'melech al kol ha'aretz Bayom hahu Yeh Adonai Echad U'shemo Echad. You may close the ark. Thank you. And we may all be seated. Mourner's Kaddish is next. It never mentions death or dying, but proclaims the greatness of God. By reciting it, mourners and all of us shows that even as their faith is being tested by the loss of a loved one, they are affirming God's greatness. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those we have drawn into our hearts as our own. Zichron livracha, may their memories be for blessing, and the names that we have on our Kaddish list for this week: Louis Friedman, Lee Levin, Charles Krennick, Mary Ann Levy. And those in the first year of mourning include Ann Cohan, Shirley Shipp, Rich Travers, George Shuloff, Sylvia Datner, Leon Sholnick, Shirley Estes, Steph Nagowski, Ina Vogel. Are there any others to name? When strength fades, there is perseverance. When perseverance fades, there's hope. When hope fades, there's love. Love never fades. We rise as a community on page 598, and we recite the Mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Atom. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yamad, Divrach, Yirteh, V'yamlich Malchuteh, B'hayahon, V'yomehon, V'hayed, Kol Beit Yisrael, B'agalah, V'zman Kari, V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mavorach, Le'olam Omei Omaya. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh, Yithadar, Yithalev, Yithallah, Shmei de Kudeshah Rehu, Leela Minko, Birhata Vashirata, Tushbahata Venemata, Damiram Bialma, Vimru Amen, Yehe Shlom Rabba Min Shemaya, Vahayim Alenu Viokol Yisrael, Vimru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Alenu Viokol Yisrael, Vimru Amen. It is a holy thing to love what death has taken, but love does not die. People do. You may be seated. The only thing left is our closing song, but first I wanted to again thank Dave and Debbie for partnering with me today. I want to thank you for attendance, for your participation. Have a good Shabbat. We'll meet again after the song in the social hall for a Passover oneg. And we end today with, I forgot what we end with. Dave, what do we end with? That's what it is. Okay, I forgot. All right, Dave, it's all yours.
Shema.